Hey guys, it's Joel and welcome back to the channel. Now, I hope everyone is keeping safe given the current global situation that's going on. I think we all know what I'm referring to. And with that, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for me to create the content I had planned. So any and all suggestions you guys have got, which I can easily make with what's going on at the moment, would be most welcome. And with that, guys, I am going to keep trying to maintain my 2 videos per week on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed if you're one of the 80% of viewers, I'm still saying 80% because it is, that watch the channel regularly and are not subscribed. It makes all the difference. Now, today's video then, I'm back out in the Z4. You've seen a lot of the Z4 on the channel recently, but it's been within the context of a garage and doing modifications to it. So I don't think you've actually seen me driving the car it must be over a month at this point. In my latest Garage Time episode 3, I fitted new wheels to my car, and I'm pleased to say it went down really well. Now, at the end of the day, it's my car, I'll do what I like with it, but it does always feel good when your very loyal viewers also, for the most part, agree with your decision as well. So it's a win-win, really. I'm very happy with the wheels from a cosmetic standpoint, and I know that many of you watching also shared in that happiness. So I did see a few questions on that video asking me about how the new wheels have affected the ride quality, and actually that video was filmed about 2 to 3 weeks before you guys actually saw it. So I've had a fair few miles, probably 2,000 miles or so in this car now with the new wheels on, so I've probably got just enough experience with the new wheels to answer that question properly for you. So essentially the question is, have the 18-inch wheels affected in any way the handling, the grip, the performance of this car as opposed to the 17-inch wheels that I had on prior? Now, the first thing I should say is the setup currently on the tyres that came with these wheels is pretty abysmal. We have got run flat tyres on the back, however they are Bridgestone Potenzas, which I think are actually a very expensive tyre, about £150 a corner. But yeah, they're run flats on the rear, and on the front we've got budget tyres, but they're non-run flat. So it's not a good setup at all. Also, the tread levels on the front are pretty good, the rear not so much. So obviously that does throw the balance of the car somewhat and means that the ride is actually pretty harsh. Now, it's a weird one actually, because on smooth roads the ride feels softer. Now, I don't know if that's just me being stupid, because I think essentially the tyres are the same profile, but we've got larger rims, which means there's less cushioning. So theoretically, in every sense, this should be a much harsher ride now with the slightly bigger wheels, or slightly harder ride. But I've not found that to be the case. On smooth roads, for whatever reason, the car sits a bit smoother. Also, I had a bit of a tracking wobble that was going on with my 17s. It's gone with these tyres. Now that is probably, or should I say wheels, but that is probably to do with the tyres more so than actually the change in alloy. Tyres are probably the most important thing you can do to a stock one of these cars to change the way it drives. I'm very aware of that, so I'm on a mission at the moment to get Michelin Pilot Sport 4s put around the car. Now, I don't know if it's to do with the situation currently, but they seem to be pretty hard to get a hold of at the moment. So annoyingly, I've been waiting to do that for a few weeks now to get the tyres from a supplier that I use, but they've just not had the right ones in stock. So I'm bearing with it with these wheels at the moment, But yes, as soon as Michelin Pilot Sport 4s come into stock, that's what will be going on. Oh, see, that's very unpleasant. That's what will be going on to the car. Also, with the change in setup, the rear tyres, as I mentioned in the fitting video, but if you didn't see it, I'll reiterate, the rear tyres are actually slightly wider now. So where before my tyres were 225 45 17 or 225 40 17 all around, my rears are now 255, ducks trying to cross the road, 255 35 18. So that 255 bit, 30 more than the 225, that's the width. So you've got a slightly wider tyre, which means, well, a couple of things. One, more expensive, as I'm finding with these Michelins, but you know, not massively so, but they are more expensive at the rear now. But what they do provide, being wider, is more grip. And although, as I've caveated this whole video with, I am on the wrong tyres completely, even though the ones at the rear are quite low on tread, I have noticed a grip increase, actually quite significantly so, since changing the tyres out. I have to say, the 17-inch wheels I was on all around before, my fronts were Goodyears, but they were like 3 years old, and my rears were pretty badly worn, so they weren't at all good tyres to benchmark. So the fact that I'm saying this setup overall is slightly better might come as quite a shock to you, but bear in mind my setup before this was somewhat even worse. But yeah, I have noticed a grip increase with the 18s, so that's good. Needless to say, guys, I'm extremely excited to get some Michelin Pilot Sports on this car all around. I've never really treated the car to properly good tyres, apart from the first set I got, which were Goodyear Eagle F1s, maybe a step or two down from the Michelin. But I remember making a video on that when that was done, basically talking about why I hadn't done that before, because it seems like such a no-brainer when you put on some proper tyres to your car. It really makes a difference. And like I say, for a car like this where it's not super fast, there's not a lot of power, and you know, it's a car that you can get used to the performance very quickly, fitting really capable tyres actually unlocks a whole nother sort of stage of excitement, because you can actually just go that bit faster and push it that bit more around a corner. So yeah, I'm very excited to get some proper tyres on the car, and of course, as and when I can make that happen, it's hard to give a date on anything these days with everything that's going on. I will probably make a video on it. So guys, I realised halfway through filming this video that actually we didn't really get a good opportunity in the episode of Garage Time where we fit the wheels to actually show you what it sort of makes it look like on the car. And I was just filming some shots of the car here in this nice location and realised I haven't actually seen it properly from the outside either. So I thought I'd just give you a quick walk around and look of how the car is actually looking now with the new wheels. So I'll make this quick because it is blooming freezing out here today. Might not look it, but it's really windy and cold. So yeah, here you go. I mean, like I say, I was literally just sort of standing out the car getting some shots of it for you guys, and I thought, I haven't even looked at it, especially with the roof down. And I have to say, it really does look fantastic now with those new wheels. As mentioned, yeah, we've got the 255 35 18s on the back, and they are Bridgestone Potenzas, but run flats like I mentioned. And on the front we're just on some budgets. I'm not actually sure what they are. Looks like Mazzini. They don't sound particularly expensive, but yeah, again, these are the same width as my old fronts at 225, profile the same at 40, and then 18 inches. Yeah, car's looking really good now. I think it somewhat, I mean, well, it doesn't somewhat, it really does help the look and just fills the arches a bit more, which is great and exactly what I was going for. Also, while we're outside the car, I'm pleased to say that the washer caps that I fitted in a previous episode of Garage Time are still on the car. I wasn't expecting them to stay on for this long, but we're about a month in, they're still there. Happy days. And actually, that one, I would say you can't even notice that it isn't painted right now. So, yeah. But yeah, actually, really cool. And that new BMW badge there on the back too. Car is a little bit dirty. I did actually have it cleaned a few days ago, but I've been using it and it's just, yeah, just picked up some of the mud. Anyway, like I say, I'm super happy with how the car looks now. Lots of you have been saying to lower it and maybe get some spacers. Both are things that I want to do, actually. I'll reveal that now, so I'm trying to make that happen. But anyway, I'm going to jump back in the car now because I'm freezing. Now, I hadn't planned to talk about this, but I thought, as I've got you here, and exactly the content plan over the next few weeks I'm not too sure of, I'll give you a little bit update, and also it's rewarding those of you that have stuck through the video and got to the end. So I've spoken about my next car, that sort of thing. I want to keep the Z4 for a while. I want to keep it, well, I want to carry on with Garage Time series, and actually there's a few exciting episodes planned, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to film them whilst this situation is going on. I keep referring to it. You know, I want to make this car look great and keep it for the summer at least. There's another two things I want to do. I want to buy a cheap car, something pretty ridiculous, and something that you wouldn't expect a young person to have. I like to do things differently, so I want to buy something to that effect, and I'm talking less than £2,000. I have sort of, well, I've got the money. I'm just skeptically looking around at the moment, and again, with everything that's going on, it makes it a little bit more difficult to go and buy a car. But I'm looking into that, and I'm now seriously considering buying a bit more of a serious car as my daily. I really do need to get another car to use every day. I mean, for example, this one, I went out on a late drive last night and it just didn't start at one point, which was a little bit concerning. I'm actually completely lost. I don't know where I'm going, but let's go with it. Yeah, so that was a little bit weird, and I just can't be having that as, you know, if this is my only car, I need to really be able to rely on it. And I've spoken about before as well, the other reason behind it is I want to enjoy this car, and if you drive it so often that you just become so numb towards it, you know, it's just like every other day when you jump into it, and you can't enjoy it as much. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it at all. You can't enjoy it as much, and I want to enjoy it as much as possible. So yeah, potentially 2 more cars coming to the channel. The other car that I really am lusting after and am pretty much in a position to get is a V10 M6, and well, that's just up to me whether I commit to it, because yes, I could go and buy one, but it's everything else that goes along with it. I don't really have the capital behind me for a massive bill if something horrific goes wrong with that. But you know, I don't read into all the horror stories too much. Anyway, I'm waffling now, and I'm also chatting rubbish because none of this is really set in stone. But that's what's going on at the moment. I'll reiterate again, obviously things are a little bit different now because of the current situation. But nonetheless, guys, I saw a few who asked for this video and my thoughts on the new wheels and how they affect the car. That's a very small insight into what I've noticed. And yeah, when I get some proper tyres on the car, I think then there's going to be some really noticeable differences in terms of the way this car performs. So I'm very excited to do that, and that should coincide with a load of other cool modifications that I'm going to do to this, and just make it just a much better package. So pray for the Z4. Fingers crossed it doesn't keep breaking down. I say breaking down, it literally just didn't start once and then it did start. It could just be a battery thing, but let's pray for the Z4 that it makes it through my Garage Time series and the summer so that I can really enjoy it. But yeah, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I think we're like super close to 10,000 subscribers now, which is amazing. If you've got any ideas of something I should do for reaching 10k, give me a shout. I haven't got anything planned. Yeah, did you hear that? Just bottomed out on something. Okay, guys, well, look, while I work out where I am and try and find a way home, I'll leave the video there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.